Alright, we are live with you tonight. Corns Bar and Grill, UMP Modifieds here at Fairbury. Week number 3, season number 2. My name is Chris Murphy here with Digital Racing Sports Network, bringing you UMP races here tonight. They run 3 classes every night. They run street stocks at... Let's see where they run. Street stocks with Oswego earlier. It was Ethan Johnson picking up the win. Then we got UMP Modifieds here at Fairbury. And then after this, we'll go to Super Late Models at Volusia. So a little bit of gap in between, but here we are at... I need to change some settings on my screen right there. Make that little line through the center here. Let's just let me see here real quick. Got my triple monitor set up really. I think I forgot to change something, so we're gonna take just about a minute break. I'll be right back. All right, I think I fixed our problem. All right, so here we are. A little bit of practice here. We've got about 6 minutes left to go on practice right now. On top of the leaderboard, Ethan Johnson with a 12:31. Corey Roberts right there behind him. Actually, with a 12:31, so they're both tied at the top of the leaderboard right now by 1/1000th of a second. Johnson with a 12:312. Corey Roberts with a 3:13. Zach Fee right there behind him. So as we're getting through practice here real quick, I don't think they run qualifying, so I think they're going to go right to a random heat race, and then we'll go to the feature. So thanks for being here with us. Once again, my name is Chris Murphy, Digital Racing Sports Network, bringing you the Corns Bar and Grill UMP Modifieds here at Fairbury, week number 3. While we're getting practice going here real quick, we'll pop up some point standings here for the UMP Modifieds. 2 races into the season, and right now it's Zach Fee at the top of the leaderboard. 2 races, 2 wins so far for Zach, 48 points. Got a 4-point lead over Mac Fletchall with 44 in 3rd right now. Dylan Van Wyck 4th, Joshua Nichols 5th, Joseph Grandy there in 6th. Gonna be Draven Cole, Dolan Cole tied for 6th place. Back in tied for 8th as well with Trenton Witt, Garrett Korn, Cody Dean, Scooter Black, and Dylan Schreiner going to round out our ties and top 10s there for the UMP Modifieds. We go into week number 3 of a 12-week season. Gonna see if we can bring up any special cameras here real quick as well. It looks like we've got a few here, so we'll see what that gave us. We got our starter cam. We got a nice little static cam in from the back straightaway. So here, have a look right now. The 114 is Zach Fee up there on the outside. Can't quite see who that is. That's the 07 of Dolan Cole. The 88 in that SGP Richard Petty throwback. That is Brendan Nance right here on your screen. Getting us warmed up here in practice. We've got about 4.5 minutes left to go. Take a close look at our Zach Fee in the 114. One thing here about Fairbury we're going to see tonight, you're going to see multiple grooves around this racetrack, and you can see it already kind of getting a little bit slick there through the center. Maybe it's just a little bit of marble thrown up in the middle, but you'll see some multiple grooves here. You see it's a 28 car there, but Brandon Jennings running that top line. Number 1 car here, Corey Roberts running around the bottom, so you can see him working in both ends of the racetrack. Corey Roberts doing a really good job getting that car rotated around on the bottom. That's not an easy task to do here at Fairbury, but he is working that bottom line really well here in practice. I think the goal here at hot laps in practice is to try to find out what you can find for later, and Corey Roberts really working that bottom line. Take here, look at Brandon Jennings on the opposite end and working that cushion up on top, and you can already see some black spots through the center of the corner, so I'd expect this track to dry out through the night. Oh. Now we are tearing stuff up early here in practice. About 3 minutes left to go. Take a look here at the 42 of Cameron Cormier. I'm going to say that wrong. Oh, and the number one car, Corey Roberts, had enough of that. Says we're going to go take a little break in the infield. 34 car, Falcon Smith, 518. 22 cars here so far tonight. Checking in for the UMP race here at Fairbury Speedway. 88 of Brendan Nance. Nice little Richard Petty throwback, tribute to the SDP car of years gone past. Still here at the top of the time charts in practice, it's Ethan Johnson with a 12.312. Right there behind him is Corey Roberts with a 12.313. Then it's Zach B with a 372 and Brendan Jennings with a 419. We'll put our best times up there. We go. We're doing some work on our overlays and our graphics and stuff like that, so hopefully things will hold up for us tonight. They've been kind of wigging out on us a little bit here and there, so we've been working with the developers of the software trying to get some stuff lined up, and it looks like it's smoothing out a little bit. We got just a few more minutes left to go on practice. We'll get right to heat races. Appreciate you being here with us. The first time you're here, hit that subscribe button, give us a like. Just getting our channel going here. We've had this channel for a long time. We've been doing a lot of World of Outlaws stuff, but we're just getting it really used up here for iRacing. We also do a little work with some other crews. So once again, my name is Chris Murphy with Digital Racing Sports Network. Good to be here with you tonight. We're going to be here on Sundays as much as we possibly can throughout the year. And I know that Garrett here with the rest of the crew at Corn's Bar and Grill are looking to put together some big races as the year goes on. So we're looking forward to that. As soon as we have more information on that, we'll pass it along to everybody. A good field of cars here so far tonight. 22 cars here at Fairbury as we're just winding up practice. Falcon Smith out here in the number 34. There's Garrett Corn down there on the bottom in the 29. Before we get started here, we'll reload our graphics just to make sure we've got the updated textures for everybody and paint jobs. Everybody likes to see their new paint designs out here on the broadcast on the racetrack. Garrett Corn down there getting some laps and getting that working that bottom. You can see it's kind of jerky getting off on the bottom. You get down a little bit too low. There's a pretty good berm down there. Falcon Smith out of Cleveland, North Carolina. I almost said Ohio. Oh, 07 of Dolan Cole. 07 on top, over top of 33 it looks like, but we'll go with 07 for the night. That's what my timing chart show. So it's 10 on the leaderboard. All right, so we're gonna get wrapped up here, get going into our first heat race. Eight laps. Looks like we're gonna run two 11-car heat races. For top four, if I remember correctly from last week, we didn't get a chance to go over the format with everybody, but the top four are gonna go right to the feature. The rest, everybody else is gonna have to go to a consi to decide the lineup. We're going to get going here for heat number one. It's going to be Draven Cole on the pole. And the number 14 outside, Brandon Jennings. Inside of row number 2 is going to be Blake Kiefer and Falcon Smith going to start in that 4th position. Inside of row number 3, Scooter Black. And Ethan Johnson going to start in 6th. Back in 7th, Dolan Cole. And outside of him, in the 8th starting position, outside of row number 4, is going to be Cody Johnson. And inside of the 5th row, starting in 9th, Matt Fletchall in the NLRA Fusion Setup Shop. Number 26, and then outside of him, Trenton Witt, and starting in 11th, going to be Dylan Van Wyck. So that is going to be our lineup here for heat number 1. Looks like we got Pace Truck off the racetrack. We're going to come off at 3 and 4, and it's going to be Draven Cole with a good jump there in the number 14 down to the bottom. But here comes Brandon Jennings back up on the top. And you see that 34 Falcon Smith trying to get in the middle, but the bottom right now seems to be working for Draven Cole. Going to slide up in the middle of the racetrack just a little bit. Going to come off the center. Oh, and he's upside down. The 14 of Draven Cole catches that inside, and he is upside and going to bring in our first caution flag of the night here in heat race number 1. And we are going to be yellow flag. We're going to go back and take a look at that real quick. See if we can see what happened. Draven Cole down here on the bottom. You can see him just gets down a little too low down on the bottom. Catches that Uke tire. Catches that tractor tire up in the center. Catches the 34 of Trenton Witt as well. Or excuse me, Falcon Smith. And that is going to be our first caution flag of the night. So Draven Cole, just a little mistake there earlier, leading this heat race. That makes a little bit of a mistake right there, and that cost him. He is down in the infield. So early leader here in heat race number 1 is now finds himself in the infield, and that is going to hand the lead over to Brandon Jennings. So Brandon Jennings with the lead, and the earlier street stock winner at Oswego earlier, Ethan Johnson, now working his way up into second. So we'll start 2 by 2. 4 laps into this 8 lap heat race. Actually 1 lap into it. And we're going to go green one more time. It's going to be Brandon Jennings to the point. Going to get himself down to the bottom of the racetrack. Ethan Johnson working that top line. And that number 11 at Cody Johnson right there tucked behind both of them. Really nowhere to go. They're side by side in front of him. Johnson looks pretty strong as he finds himself in the middle of the racetrack. Jennings kind of slides up off the bottom, and he's going to try to cut off that line from Ethan Johnson. He does going into 3 and 4, and we're 3 wide for the lead here. Jennings off the top. Cody Johnson going to make his way around Ethan Johnson for that second spot. As we head off of turn number 2, one more time down the back. There's a little contact there from the Johnsons. It's Cody Johnson down on the bottom. We come across the stripe. 1 more lap to go. White flag out for Brandon Johnson. We're going to come across the line side by side for that second position. Brandon Johnson and Cody Johnson. Ethan Johnson throws a big haymaker in 3 and 4, but it's not going to work for him. And it's going to be Brandon Jennings bringing home the win. Ethan Johnson in second. Cody Johnson in third. My screen just freeze up. All right, let's see if we can get the results here for heat race number 1. There we go. That doesn't look right. I think my iRacing might have just froze up. I'm going to have to back out of here. Try to join back in. I don't know what happened there, but looks like we might have lost our feed. Tends to happen sometimes. So I'm Chris Murphy. Welcome, or thanks for being here. Looks like Brandon Jennings is going to take home the win there in heat race number 1. I think Cody Johnson got back by Ethan Johnson there at the finish line. All right, looks like we're getting loaded back in now. Heat race number 2 getting ready to get started here. We split the 22 cars here, and I split them into 2 11-car heat races. We're back to live. All right. Heat race number 2 here for the Corns Bar and Grill UMP Modifieds here at Fairbury. For heat race number 2 on the pole is going to be Dylan Schreiner. Outside of him, Garrett Korn. Starting in the third position, inside of row number 2, Brendan Nance, Zach Fee on the outside, starting fourth. And then third row is going to be Colton Lehman, Kyle Reeder. Behind them is going to be Joshua Diaz and Joseph Grandy. And back in row number 5 is going to be Cameron Cormier and Joshua Nichols. And then rounding out the field is going to be in the 11th starting position, back inside of row number 6. I guess kind of row 6 by himself is going to be Corey Roberts. Corey looked strong earlier in practice. We'll see if he can find his way from the back of the field. Hopefully we don't lose our feet anymore here. So it's a 92 of Dylan Shriver, going to bring him to the line. Garrett Korn up on the outside. Garrett had a good run in the late models last weekend. And we are green flag. Dylan Schreiner, good start down on the bottom. Here comes the 88 of Brendan Nance. Is going to find his way up inside of Garrett Korn, but Schreiner slides up to the middle of the racetrack. Lost a little bit of momentum. That is going to let the 88 of Brendan Nance get by on the inside, or at least alongside. Schreiner doing a good job fighting back in the middle of the racetrack. 114 is Zach Fee going to stick his nose in there as well. We are 3 wide back here for second and third. And it's Schreiner out in front, Brendan Nance. Zach Fee now in the third spot. Garrett Korn in fourth. And here comes the number 10 of Colton Lehman sticking his nose into this fight as well. Some good racing through here, coming through the middle of 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway one more time. Schreiner now starting to separate himself away from the field. But here comes the number 114 is Zach Fee. Garrett Korn in third. We look back here. Oh, a little tap back there from the 88 on the 115 or the 155 of Joshua Diaz. Looks like he's going to get it collectively. He did catch the wall down the back straightaway there. Getting it gathered back up in the 91. Having a little problem down there bottom. Kyle Reeder gets loose. He slides up the racetrack. Gets into Joshua Diaz. And it's a little bit of chaos back there. It looks like we might have had somebody upside down. Looks like Kyle Reeder is going to get the worst of it. As we are under caution one more time. Our first caution here in heat race number 2 finds Kyle Reeder and Joshua Diaz out of the race. We'll see if we can find out what happened there. Go back and take a quick look. Back and catch a replay. And you can see that 91 just kind of caught something awful odd right there. Slides up the racetrack, gets into the 155. That caused the 155 up into the fence. That looked a little bizarre. What the heck was that? Take a look at this from Reeder's perspective. Down here on the bottom of the racetrack. And just picked up a big push. I think he hit that berm on the inside. And that just caused him to lose the front of the car. Shove up the racetrack and it hits a tractor tire there. So Joshua Diaz. Diaz and Kyle Reeder both going to find themselves out of this race right now. And we go back to green flag. It's Dylan Schreiner still out front. Zach Fee in second. Schreiner back and forth here with Zach Fee. Zach Fee down to the bottom. Going to do a big slider up. Coming off into turn number 2. He's going to clear Schreiner. One more lap left to go here. It's Fee and Schreiner side by side. Coming off a 3 and 4. Taking the white flag. Schreiner gets a little bit of contact down the back straightaway with Fee, but Fee's going to find a line through the middle of 3 and 4. They're going to come back side by side right at the start finish line. And again, all my overlays are going crazy, so it looks like it's going to be, see who got it there at the line. All right, there we go. So I think it was Schreiner at the line, Fee for second. Garrett Korn going to come home in third. That's going to be your top 3 there in heat race number 2. Getting lined up for our Consi, so still a little more work to do on our overlays. You can see some things kind of sticking on the screen, and so we'll get this fixed up for us. But going to head into our consolation race, or actually labeled as heat race number 3. So they took the top 4. It looked like out of the heat races straight to the main. And we're going to run a little consi here to decide the rest of the lineup for the feature event. And on the pole, we can get this. There we go. On the pole is going to be Falcon Smith. Actually, he's going to be starting third. Man, this button is really not doing us any favors. Now, there we go. Blake Kiefer, Colton Lehman on the front row. Paystruck still out there. Falcon Smith, Cameron Cormier, Ethan Johnson, Joseph Grandy, Scooter Black, Joshua Nichols, Brandon Jens. We're going to go green here real quick, so we're going to get through the rest of the lineup later. We come off of turn number 4. Blake Kiefer on the inside. Colton Lehman up on the outside in the number 10. Lehman's going to get a good run off the top of turn 2, but it's going to be Kiefer with the lead. Oh, contact right there. Contact up in front. It looks like everybody's going to keep it straight down. Nope, there's the 3 car of Blake Kiefer taking a ride. And they're still piling it up. Are we still a green? Okay, there we go. First caution of the event. We'll go back and see what happened there. See some contact right there in front of where we were. Go back and look at it one more time. Didn't quite tell who started that, but as they were getting kind of lined back up there, Ethan Johnson got together with a 3 car. He goes flying. Back look one more time here. All right, we get back to live timing. It's going to be Colton Lehman and Ethan Johnson. They're bringing them to the line. Ethan Johnson with the lead. Coleman Lehman right there. They're going to take the outside line. Thanks for that tip, Kyle. I'll do that here after this consolation race. So Ethan Johnson, Corey Roberts. Ethan Johnson to the point. Here comes the number 1 of Roberts are up into second. Colton Lehman right there in third. Roberts with a good dive down on the bottom. Can he slide at the racetrack? No, he's going to be right there in the middle. Ethan Johnson still with the lead. Come off of turn number 4 one more time. 9 laps left to go in this race. It is Ethan Johnson, Corey Roberts, Colton Lehman, Falcon Smith, and the 155 of Joshua Diaz right there as well to get to the front of the pack. Corey Roberts side by side, going to find a line on the inside. Ethan Johnson look for a slide as they get down the corner. We got another caution flag out. It looks like it may have been Colton Lehman involved. Maybe Falcon Smith as well. We'll take a look here real quick. We Lehman down there on the bottom. He kind of slides up the racetrack. A little bit of contact as they come off the corner. I think Lehman thought he had a little bit more room right there. Makes a little contact with Falcon Smith. They're going to turn him around. Yeah, second caution here in this consolation race. All right, let's see if we can change these settings here real quick. I got to find it. Thought I had them on, but we're back green flag here one more time. It's Ethan Johnson back out in front. Big push right from Corey Roberts. He's going to get up into the fence. Nice recovery there from Roberts. He gets back up right up on the back bumper of Ethan Johnson. And it's Johnson, Roberts 1-2. Lehman back there in third. 6 laps left to go. We're halfway through this semi. Johnson, Roberts, Lehman, your top 3. Go back and look here to the back. It's Grandy and Reeder. it's still Johnson and Roberts side by side here for the lead. 4 laps left to go in this Consi. Johnson won the street stock race earlier at Oswego, looking to get himself a better start position here. We're a caution one more time. I think it might have been Joshua Diaz. Take a quick look here. Diaz in the 155 involved in a crash earlier. He's in the middle of the racetrack. He's got the 34 of Falcon Smith there on the inside. And they make a little contact going in the corner. Smith gets into that left rear quarter panel, turns Diaz around. He's going to nose it into the outside wall. Started with 14. We're down to 9. All right, 3 laps left to go. Ethan Johnson, Corey Roberts 1 and 2. Joseph Grandy back there in third. We're going to go single file restart here. And a good jump there from Johnson. Goes off of turn number 4. Is going to restart this race with 3 to go. Is going to get right up on the outside, right up on the cushion. Actually scraping the outside fence right there. Corey Roberts not able to hang on to Johnson on this restart. He falls back about 4 or 5 car lengths here. So Johnson with a good start. Able to get some separation there on Roberts. Roberts there in second. We look back here in the middle of the pack. They're about 4th and 5th. You see the 28 of Brandon Jennings up there on the outside. We're going to come around one more time here. Coming off of turn number 2, it's Ethan Johnson. Corey Roberts has gained a little bit of ground, but not enough. Going to come off of turn number 4. It is going to be Ethan Johnson with a win here in this consolation race. Corey Roberts, Joseph Grandy, Kyle Reeder, Brandon Jennings, Dolan Smith, Falcon Smith, Scooter Black, and Cameron Cormier. Our finish up for our concert race. We'll get right onto the feature. We're going to see if we can fix that. Sometimes when they do these little updates, it changes your settings. I thought I had that done already. So we're going to get onto the feature. Take a look back here. It looks like it's going to be Cody Johnson in the 11, starting on the pole. Zach Fee up on the outside. Get our grid to show up here for us. We're going to roll off the line here. Cody Johnson on the pole here for this 40-lap feature event. Zach Fee, Matt Fletchall, Dylan Schreiner, Dylan Van Wyck, Garrett Korn going to start outside of row number 3. Back in row 4, it's going to be Trenton Witt, Brandon Nance, Ethan Johnson, Corey Roberts, Joseph Grandy, Kyle Reeder going to start 11th and 12th on the field. Back in 13th, it's going to be Brandon Jennings. Falcon Smith's going to start 14th outside of row number 7. It's going to be Scooter Black and Cameron Cormier. Starting in 17th, it's going to be Dolan Cole, Joshua Diaz, Joshua Nichols, and Draven Cole going to start in that 20th position. We go back to the last car in the field, 20. Going to start 21 here tonight. It's Blake Kiefer starting in 21st. So 40 laps here at Fairbury. Cody Johnson on the pole. And we are green. It's off a turn. Big jump there from Johnson. Fee with a little bit of mistake. Got on the throttle a little too hard. Spun the tires. That let Johnson get out in front. Not only that, but it let Matt Fletchall get up alongside him. Down on the inside is also Dylan Van Wyck in the 26. Fletchall in the 26. Dylan Van Wyck down there in the 117. As all of our overlays are all reloading here, or all of our graphics. And it's 17 car of Van Wyck going to slide up the racetrack. And he is going to take the lead away. And it's going to be bringing Ethan Johnson along with him. So Cody Johnson, big mistake. He is all the way back here to the 7th spot. Ethan Johnson now finds his way to the point. He just won that consolation race, started this race back in the 9th position, all the way to the front already. Johnson, Van Wyck. Side-by-side battle here with Zach Fee and Corey Roberts. Three wide coming through turn number 2. One more time, it's still Ethan Johnson out in front. 17 car here of Dylan Van Wyck there in second. Matt Fletchall getting a good job down there rotating that bottom of the racetrack. And you see the bomb starting to come in, and we got our first caution flag of the event. And it looks like it's going to be, see if we can see what it was here. It looks like it might have been Joshua Diaz, maybe Dolan Cole started. We'll take a look here. We'll jump over, catch a replay. Dolan Cole in the 07 down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to get in a little deep there, gets into the 9. And that's going to cause a pileup. That's the 91 car of Kyle Reeder upside down. And that's going to send him to the pits. He is going to be out of this race. No fast repairs, I don't believe. Unfortunately, that's going to take Kyle Reeder out of this feature. Get back up here, live time up towards the front. Ethan Johnson at the point. Yellow flag still in the air one more time around for Ethan Johnson. Dylan Van Wyck there in second in the 17. Matt Fletchall right there behind him. Off of turn number 4. Johnson going to bring him to the stripe. Van Wyck does a good job hanging in there. There's a 20 low contact there with Fletchall and Johnson. That is going to let Van Wyck get around on the outside. And look at that 3 car. I think that's Trenton Witt working at top of the racetrack. He just passed about 3 cars there through one corner, way up on the top, using that wall, using the cushion as much as he can. But it looks like Johnson's going to find his way back to the point, and he has the one of Zach Fee all over the back bumper. Cody Johnson now finds his way up into the top 5 after falling back. Early leader in this race fell back a little bit, now working his way back to the front. Now finds himself in the 5th spot. We'll take a look back to the middle of the field. See Garrett Korn back here in 8th right now, trying to find his way to the front. Started in 6th, has fallen back a couple of spots. Good racing going on through the middle of the racetrack. Big push there from that. Couldn't tell quite who that was. It looked like might have been Falcon Smith pushed up the racetrack. We'll get back to the front. Ethan Johnson, Zach Fee working up, closing up that gap on him about 0.2 of a second, but he is reeling in Ethan Johnson. They're both working the bottom right now. Johnson's doing a better job of rolling right around the bottom, right on that berm, right on the tractor tires. Fee sliding up in the middle just a little bit. Corey Roberts back here in the 5th spot, started back in 10th. He is working his way around. Cody Johnson trying to take a look underneath of him there. We'll take a look to the inside here with Corey Roberts. He comes off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Going to jump up to the outside to see if he can find a run on the outside to get around Cody Johnson. Oh, Johnson hits a tractor tire down on the bottom. That is going to let Roberts around on the outside. Johnson's able to collect the car, but Fletchall there caught a little piece of it. And you can see Garrett Korn now sneaking his way into this battle as well. Trenton Witt right behind him in a 3 car as we've got another caution flag out. Looks like it might have been Joshua Diaz one more time. We'll take a look again here. He's been involved in a couple incidences tonight. Down here on the bottom of the racetrack, just gets into the corner, catches that tire right there. It's so easy to do. I'm not really sure who invented putting those damn tires around the bottom of the dirt racetracks, but I know I tore up a few cars in my years on top of them, so not a big fan of those Uke tires, or tractor tires as they call them. Ethan Johnson now has led 19 laps of this race. Still at the point. Zach Fee right there with him, though. This is going to come down to the wire. We are under, I'm not even sure what caution that was. It says second caution, but I don't think that's really true. So Ethan Johnson, Zach V, Corey Roberts, Dylan Van Wyck, your top four. Matt Fletchall, Cody Johnson, Garrett Korn, Trenton Witt, Joshua Nichols, Dolan Cole, Draven Cole. Back in 12th, Cameron Cormier. I come around the line one more time here. Ethan Johnson going to bring him to the stripe. And look at Fee down on the bottom with a big slide all the way up to the racetrack. Can't really hold it. Gets into the wall. That gives Johnson the point back one more time. Fee threw a haymaker in there, but was not able to hold the racetrack. And here comes the 17 down on the bottom of Dylan Van Wyck trying to roll that bottom. You can see everybody moving up to the top now. Johnson moved up to the top of the racetrack. Fee as well. Corey Roberts now started back in 10th, now finding his way up into the third spot, up 7 spots. And you can see two grooves working in here at Fairbury tonight. Roberts down on the bottom, Fee up on the top. Just still too much bite on the top of that racetrack for Fee to make a run down there. But yeah, we are 2-3 wide all the way throughout this pack. We take a look back here at Draven Cole. Back here in the 12th spot. He's up 8 spots after starting back in 20th. But our big leader right now is Joshua Nichols. In the 99, started back in 19th all the way up to 7th. And you can see he's chasing down Garrett Cole right there in front of him. But as we bring him into the picture, he catches that wall just a bit, loses a little bit of ground. Ethan Johnson doing a good job working the top of that racetrack. Now got about 0.8 of a second lead over Zach Fee. Matt Fletchall in third. Corey Roberts there in the 4th spot. Garrett Korn's back up to, actually Corey Roberts down there in 5th. Garrett Korn's worked his way back up into 6th where he started at, and he's got the 99 back there behind him. So Nichols trying to keep moving to the front. He's up to 7th. He's making a good run on the top of the racetrack. He's looking to take a few more spots. I don't think he's done yet with 16 laps to go in this race. We'll jump back up to the front. It's still Ethan Johnson, Zach Fee in 2nd. Like we're starting to single file out on the top. A nice move back there from, looked like Dylan Schreiner trying to make a move by Cody Johnson. Take a look at this battle here from 5th and 6th. Now 6th and 7th here with Joshua Nichols and Garrett Korn. Back up here to battle for 3rd and 4th, and we're under caution once again on lap 26, and it looked like it might be Joshua Diaz one more time. How many more incidents can Joshua take here and keep rolling on? So it gets loose right here. Coming off a 2 and just gets down the corner and just gets into the 5 car. Causes him to lose some traction. So Joshua just got in the corner a little bit too deep. Got in the number 5 of Scooter Black. Turned it sideways and put it down in the infield. Thanks for being here with us. My name is Chris Murphy here with the Digital Racing Sports Network. Bring you the Corns Bar and Grill UMP Modifieds. Ethan Johnson here out in front, led 16 laps. Led the most laps in this race. He won the Free Stock race earlier to Oswego. Going to look to go 2 for 2 so far tonight. And Ethan's going to bring him to the line one more time. Fee's right there with him again, but not going to try a haymaker. This time going to follow him through the corner, through 1 and 2. We are side by side back there for 3rd and 4th with Corey Roberts and Matt Fletchall. Fletchall now up to 3rd, trying to make a run on the bottom of Zach Fee for that 2nd spot as well. Roberts up on the outside. Garrett Korn right there with him in the 29. Dolan Cole's worked his way up into this battle after starting back in 17th and at 07. Has found his way up near the top 5. Running in 6th right now, trying to get around Garrett Korn and the 26 of Matt Fletchall down there on the bottom of the racetrack. 10 laps left to go. Zach Fee looks like he's pretty much settled in to maybe tuck up behind Ethan Johnson right here. Run a few laps, see if they can make up some ground. maybe get a little separation between the cars behind him and just make it a battle of two. Ethan Johnson, Zach Fee, Corey Roberts now your top three, and they have separated a little bit away from that fifth place battle of Dole Cole and Garrett Corn. Cole going to slide up the racetrack. Corn with a crossover. You can see Corn going to try to protect that bottom. Block off against that slider. It didn't quite work as Cole got back up underneath of him. One more slider for Cole. Going to move up in front of 29 of Garrett Corn. Corn going to try to cut back up underneath one more time as they head down into turn number one with 7 laps left to go. Cole with a good run on the outside, and he's going to bring that 26 of Matt Fletchall with him. Back up to the front here, it's still Ethan Johnson. We'll stay on this battle back here for about 5th, 6th, and 7th. It's Cole. All right, we are under caution one more time. It looks like it might have been the 91 of Dylan Schreiner. 92, sorry. Coming off of turn 2 down the back straightaway up into 3. Here comes Schreiner. It looks like he just catches the wall with the back of the car, and that turns the front around. You catch that hard with the back bumper. That's going to turn the front of the car into the outside wall. And that's exactly what happens there to Schreiner. Just a little bit of a mistake there is going to cost him. All right, we got 3 laps left to go in this. My one thing says 3, the other one says 5, so I'm not sure which one it is. So we'll see here where it goes. I'm showing 5 laps left to go, but it's Ethan Johnson still at the point. Watch Zach Fee down the bottom. He's going to try to make a dive. Not able to slide up in front of Johnson. Johnson with a good run on the outside. As a matter of fact, that killed Fee's momentum. That's going to let Corey Robertson, the other number 1, take that second spot away. And here comes Dolan Cole in that 07 with a charge to the front here. Started back in 17th. And we are throwing haymakers here at Fairbury. Oh, contact with Cole and Fletchall right there. They're going to keep it going. So our battle right now is for second here. Fee with another big slide. Roberts back up underneath of him. And you can see Zach Fee already set up the next slider. 2 laps left to go as they cross the line. It's the number one and number 1 battle here for the second spot. Cole up there on the outside in 4th, looking for somewhere to go. And one more time, it's Zach Fee going to slide up in front of Corey Roberts there for second. Come across the line. One more lap to go through 1 and 2. One more time. See if we can catch Johnson coming off the corner, but we're watching this battle here for second. Roberts did a good job of protecting the bottom, and that's going to give him second spot in this race. Zach Fee in 3rd. Dolan Cole with a great drive all the way up from 17th up to 4th. Gained 13 spots in this race. And we're throwing haymakers at Fairbury. It was Roberts and Zach Fee back and forth for that second spot, but it was Corey Roberts who ended up at second at the line. But your leader for most of the race, Ethan Johnson. Gonna bring it home after leading the most laps of this race. Jump back here and take a look at Ethan. All right, we're going to bring up the results here from our feature event at Fairbury for Corn's Bar and Grill. All right, there we go. Ethan Johnson with the win. Second win of the night. He won the Street Stocks earlier, as we talked about throughout that event. Corey Roberts there coming home in second. Zach Fee, 3rd. Dolan Cole is going to be in 4th. Dolan moved up 13 spots in that race up to the 4th spot. Matt Fletchall fell back a couple of spots, but come home in 5th. And it was Garrett Corn started in 6th, finished 6th. Joshua Nichols in 7th. Dylan Bowdenbeck 8th. Trenton Witt 9th. And Brendan Nance going to round out the top 10. Back in 11th, Draven Cole, Falcon Smith, Scooter Black, Dylan Schreiner, Cody Johnson. Cody started on the pole, fell all the way back to 15th in this race. He had a good run, started off early, but had a little trouble. Coming home in 15th, Kyle Reeder. Our first car out of the race there in 16th. Cameron Cormier, 17th. Joshua Diaz. Joshua had quite a few issues in this race. It's going to be 18th. Blake Kiefer, Brandon Jennings, Joseph Grandy going to round out the field. 21 cars started. 15 finished here at Fairbury for the Corns Bar and Grill. Let's see if we can. Now it's going to try to drag somebody in for an interview, but it doesn't look like it's working. So, all right, so we're going to finish up the the UMPs there at Fairbury. We are going to go on to super late models at Volusia. Should be a heck of a race there. So far, Ethan Johnson, 2 races tonight, 2 for 2. We didn't bring you the coverage of the street stocks earlier, but Ethan Johnson did pick up the win in the street stocks at Oswego. Ethan did a good job here tonight. Ran just about everywhere he needed to run. He was searching the racetrack, down on the bottom, down on the top, or up on the top. Trying to get some interview in here, but it doesn't look like they got our stuff set up correctly. So we will just move on. So we've got about 15 minutes, I think, before the late model race. Thanks for being here. My name is Chris Murphy with Digital Racing Sports Network. Appreciate you being here with us tonight. If you haven't been here before, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, do whatever you need to do. We'll be here on Saturdays, or excuse me, a few Sundays here and there, bringing you some races here from the Corns Bar and Grill. If you got a league out there, you need some races covered, give us a holler. We're doing some work with some other groups as well. We're doing tomorrow night. We'll be doing some endurance race coverage with JP Broadcasting for the Autobahn League. Tuesday night, we will be at Sim Racing Media, bringing you the Western States Racing League truck race. And then Friday night, we've got a special race, Halloween race, the Sim Racing Media coverage of the Great Lakes Halloween Parker race at Michigan. Should be a fun one there. So we've got special stuff planned for that night. So catch us out on Tuesday and Friday over at the Sim Racing Media YouTube channel. But you'll find us here at the Digital Racing Sports Network, as well as we're kind of freelancing around a little bit, having fun with it. We're trying to help the manufacturers of this software we're using for the overlays with some dirt racing stuff. It works fantastic if you're doing any NASCAR or road racing. So if you're doing anything out there and you need some overlays, STK software is just fantastic. But got to making some few adjustments here for the dirt races, because when we go under cautions and stuff like that, it tends to skip around, and then some of the graphics aren't coming up for us. So we're helping get it dialed in. We are going to get supers going here real quick. We'll get out of this lobby. So I'm going to start here in about 15 minutes. Appreciate you sticking there with us. We're going to get going here real quick. We can go back. We'll try to kill some time. We'll go back and look at a couple of instances here that happened during this race. If we can find something. Go back and look at this one with Dylan Schreiner. Was running around the top of the racetrack up here, doing a good job. Just kind of using that cushion. Just got up off and jumped the cushion there, caught the outside wall with a back bumper. That turned the front of the car nose in. Surprised he was able to keep going. Didn't tear up that right front too bad, but another incident as well earlier here with Joshua Diaz. Josh was involved in had his struggles here tonight. Here he was running back here in the middle of the pack, about 15th or 16th actually, and he gets too deep into the corner and gets into the 5 of Scooter Black. That turns the car around. He finds himself down in the infield as well. But after 40 laps here with Ethan Johnson bringing home the win. And that number 11, he's 2 for 2 tonight. Looks really good out there. Looks strong. I expect Ethan to be towards the front of the super race here at Volusia as well. I just looked at my stats. Ethan Johnson has 11,000 I rating. For those of you that might not know what that I rating means, that is an outstanding number. Most of these guys hovering around about 4 to 5,000. So it's just basically your experience and all your win, how your results, and just kind of a rating to kind of show everybody how strong you are, how good you are, how clean you are. Ethan Johnson, that's a big number at 11,000. So we'll expect him to do well here in the late models also as we get going. All right, so 12 weeks we're here. The Corns Bar and Grill. On Sunday nights, they're running street stock, UMPs, and late models. And right now, week number 3, UMPs at Fairbury. UMPs will be at Kokomo next week. And we're going to move on to Supers here at Volusia as soon as they get the lobby loaded up here for us. We're going to jump out of this race here and see where we can find. See if they have it up yet. Not quite. So we got about 15 minutes left to go. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll just rewind this race a little bit and let you watch a little bit here from the front. So we'll be back live in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, enjoy this battle up here in the front with Ethan Johnson and Zach Fee. We'll be right back. All right, we're gonna jump back over here. Thanks for being here with us. My name's Chris Murphy, Digital Racing Sports Network. We're gonna bring you the Corns Bar and Grill super late model dirt race at Volusia. We just finished off with the UMP modifieds at Fairbury. About 6 minutes left to go here, I think, before the lobby is going to be up. So we'll get in there as soon as we can. But a bit about ourselves. So we're doing some World of Outlaw races on Xbox for a couple of years before we moved over to iRacing. So just getting our feet grounded over here. I guess I don't know if that's the right really way to say it, but we're been working with a couple other companies doing some broadcasts, just having some fun with it. We got our own channel going here, so if you go back and look at some of the old videos, you'll see some dirt racing, you'll see some World of Outlaw stuff on there, some F1. We like to do whatever, just about cover just about all kinds of different things. So if you've got a league out there, you're looking for some coverage, reach out to us. We've got not only what we're doing ourselves here, but we work with a couple other companies. So if you're looking for something a little more with a couple 2 or 3 man booth going, we can help you out with that as well. But for me, just kind of on here covering some dirt stuff. I raced dirt cars myself for about 25 years, so it's nice to come over and get back home and cover some dirt races. We've been doing a lot of endurance stuff and GT3 races, NASCAR trucks, NASCAR next gen, that kind of stuff. So we're doing next week. We're doing some truck racing. Tomorrow night we're doing some endurance racing over with JP Broadcasting. And then Tuesday night we're Sim Racing Media, kind of our home away from home there at Sim Racing Media, doing truck race with Western States League. And then we'll be able to come on Friday night with the Great Lakes doing their Halloween special. So we're gonna got a couple more minutes here left to go. We got about 4 or 5 minutes before the lobby gets going. So we're gonna jump out just one more time, catch a little drink. We'll be right back with the super late models at Volusia with Corns Bar and Grill. Well, hang right there, hang tight with us. I know there's only a couple people in there right now, but hang tight with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're gonna get back live here any minute. Bobby should be loading up here real soon. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Chris Murphy with Digital Racing Sports Network. Dirt Racing Rewind down there, you see, is one of our sponsors. Actually, another YouTube page we have if you like old vintage dirt races. Check out Dirt Racing Rewind. We put up a bunch of old stuff back from I think we got stuff all the way back to like '61. Old fairground races, sprint car races, big USAC races. A lot of local stuff out here for our part of the country, out in Oregon. A lot of our stuff, a lot of stuff we used to race in. So it kind of started the channel off, starting up my races when actually we had a good run. So we get that up there, and then we started kind of branching out to a bunch of other stuff. So like they're getting a lobby going, so we'll get in there real quick. Late models, super late models here for Corn's Bar and Grill. I guess it's season 2 for this league, if I remember right. Maybe somebody told me that. But so far tonight, it's been the Ethan Johnson show. Picked up the win in the Street Stocks at Oswego. They backed it up with a win in the UMPs out of Fairbury. Kind of left second place guys back there battling back and forth, throwing haymakers at each other. We're getting loaded in right now. We had 21 cars start that feature back at UMPs. Let's see what we got here tonight. Looks like our field's a little bit shortened. 16 cars right now in practice for the super late models of Volusia. We'll see if that field grows. The Corns Bar and Grill. They run 3 classes every Sunday night: Street Stocks, UMPs, and super late models. Run about 15 minutes worth of practice, and we'll get in right to heat races. No qualifying here. Do a random pill draw. Lines them up for the heats. All right. The 91 car here, Kyle Reeder, putting down some laps. We get up here towards the front. So right now, Joseph Grandy in the number 5. Best times here in practice so far. So Joseph Grandy, Garrett Korn right now top of the charts here in practice. Thanks for being here with us. Super late models for Korn's Bar and Grill here at Volusia. We'll pile them up here just a little bit. Getting a few more drivers into the lobby right now, so it looks like we may have about 20 cars so far. We take a look here at the number 28 of Brandon Jennings. About 9 more minutes left here in practice, the 15-minute practice. Garrett Korn in the 29. Got the 88 of Brendan Nance right there behind him. Our early leader, Ethan Johnson. Haven't seen him pop into the lobby here yet for practice. We don't have any custom cameras here for the track, so we're going to have to make some of our own for next time. Good shot down the back straightaway into turn number 3. You see how racy this track is going to be tonight here at Volusia. It's nice and wide. They're 3-4 wide right there through the corner. Grandy still at the top of the charts with a 15.407, and it's Zach B right there behind him. Excuse me, best time for Grandy is a 14.778. Zach Fee second on the charts right now, the 7.9. We see Ethan Johnson now made his way into the lobby. Down here getting some practice laps in. See if he can make it 3 for 3 tonight. Picked up the win in the street stocks and the UMP modifieds. Can he also take the win here in the super late models at Volusia? He looks really strong out there right now. He's about third on the timing charts right now. With a 1481, only about 200ths of a second off the pace of Joseph Grandy and Zach Fee. Johnson across the stripe right there with a 14.95, so putting down some nice consistent laps there. We'll jump in the cockpit here with Ethan, make a few laps. Was off a turn number through 3 and 4 right here. The other track kind of tight. It feels like it really tightens up as you come off of 4 and then widens back out to 1 and 2, but it's also got kind of a unique shape as you come off of 2, this back straightaway. Wish I could hit the tear off button. Ethan Johnson now showing us way around the racetrack. Right here through the middle, you can see him out towards the outside, getting into 3. Kind of comes in a little bit off the cushion, slides up to the cushion right in the middle of the corner. Comes off of 4 right against the fence. So Ethan Johnson showing us how to get around Volusia. Dives down to the bottom of 1 and 2. Lets the car slide up off of 2. Keeps that momentum going. You come off the corner right there, get the wheel opened up. Keeps the momentum going on these cars. And a few laps are around the track with Ethan Johnson. We'll jump in here with Joseph Grandy now at Dunesburg, New York. Looks like he's got the 20. He's got the 20 car of Fletchall, I think, right there in front of him. Grandy's going to tear it up in practice. Garrett Korn looking to the inside of Matt Fletchall with a 34 car of Falcon Smith down there on the bottom. 3 wide, coming off of 4 down the front straight in practice. We're getting heated up already. We haven't even started racing yet, and we're 3 wide. Falcon Smith, Matt Fletchall, and Garrett Korn putting on a show here for us. Falcon Smith's going to slide up the racetrack, make a little contact with Fletchall there in practice. And it is still Joseph Grandy with fast time, 14.778. Zach Fee with a 14.79. Ethan Johnson with an 8.1. Johnson's got this car pretty tight, pretty hooked up on the top. You can see it packing that left front tire coming off of 4. Good shot here. You can see just how close he's trying to keep those tires coming off of turn 4, and they'll reach out and grab you in a hurry if you're not careful. Looking for some good racing here at Volusia. They put on a great show last week with the super late models. I expect the same. The UMP race was also really good earlier at Fairbury. So week number 3, while they're getting practice going, let's bring up some point standings here for the late models. It's Dylan Wilson out in front. 1 win on the season. Zach Fee second, or actually tied for, so it's tied for first with Dylan Wilson and Zach Fee. Now I see Garrett Korn in third in the point standings. Dylan Schreiner, Brandon Jennings, Joshua Nichols, Joseph Grandy, Dylan Van Wyck, Scooter Black, Dolan Cole going to round out the top 10. Then it's Brendan Nance, Colton Lehman, Ethan Johnson, Matt Fletchall, and Chad Johnson back there in 15th. So 2 races, Ethan Johnson picking up 1 win early, Dylan Wilson with the other. So we'll see who can pick up the win here in week number 3 at Volusia. We can give everybody a little camera time. We don't always get the chance during the race, so we'll Dylan Schreiner here in the 92. Had a little trouble in the UMP race earlier. Colton Lehman with the number 10, but the number 20 RT on the car. Cody Johnson, our pole sitter in the UMP race, had struggled, fell all the way back to 15th. Let's see if he can make up for it here in the late models. Right there behind him, Brendan Nance in the number 88. We have about 3 minutes left to go here in practice. Brandon Jennings, Kyle Reeder. There in the 91. A little mistake there from, not sure who that was. First few times covering these guys. We get on here for about all 12 weeks. By the end of them, we'll know exactly which car is who, but we're still learning everybody, and plus our graphics aren't always, our timing and scoring doesn't always show the exact same number that's on the car. You know, for example, Colton Lehman's number 10 on the score sheets, that shows number 20 RT on the race car. So Cleveland, North Carolina driver Falcon Smith, but right now, fast time is that Dwaynesburg, New York driver Joseph Grandy, the number 5. I really like the color on that car. Top in the charts right now in practice with a 1478. All right, we're gonna see which one of these, which one of our graphics here works the best. We're gonna try this one for this race here with this different, little bit different tower. But Joseph Grandy, practice winding down, about a minute and a half left to go. But Grandy still with fast time out there. Let's see if that holds up for the heat races. Since we don't do qualifying, it's kind of a luck of the draw in the heat. Cameron Cormier 7th right now on the charts here in practice. Brandon Jennings right there in front of him in the 28. Back on the track, we got Joseph Grandy with the 88 of Brendan Nance right there behind him. All right, one more time, I'm Chris Murphy. This is the Racing Sports Network, bringing you the Corns Bar and Grill Super Late Models from Volusia, week number 3 of 12. We find ourselves at Volusia tonight. And then next week for the Super Late Models, it is going to be I-55. That'll be on November 2nd. All these races starting at 9:15. They got 9:15 Central. We'll go with Eastern, 10:15 Eastern next week for the Super Late Models at I-55 Speedway. But it does start out next week with dirt street stocks at USA International Speedway at 7:45 Eastern time. That'll roll into the UMP Modifieds at Kokomo at 9 Eastern, and we'll come back at 10:15 Eastern with the I-55 super late models at I-55, the Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55. What do they call that? It's what's the other name for I-55? Peevely, isn't it? Kenny Schrader used to own. All right, we're gonna get ourselves up to heat race number 1. See if we can get the grid up here for us. And it is going to be Zach Fee. So we're going to have 2 heat races tonight. 11 cars, it looks like, in each heat. Or at least 11 in the first heat. We'll see how many are in the second. But it's Zach Fee on the pole here for heat race number 1. Outside him going to be Dylan Schreiner, Garrett Korn, Blake Kiefer. Outside of row number 2. Inside of row 3. In the 5th starting spot is going to be Colton Lehman. Cameron Cormier in 6th. Dolan Cole 7th. Kyle Reeder 8th. Joseph Grandy going to start in 9th. Joshua Nichols 10th. And rounding out the field, starting back there in the 6th row all by himself, it's Chris Moore in the number 39. So we're going to get going here. Zach Fee on the pole for this one. Dylan Schreider on his outside in the 92. We head off of turn number 2, down the back straightaway here. Looks like the lights are out on the pace truck. We're going to go around one more time. The number 3 there, Blake Kiefer, just kind of pulled off the racetrack. Looks like he may have had some kind of an issue. Kiefer going to be out of this race before it even begins, it looks like. Technical issue, the wheel fell off or something. I'm not quite sure. They're disconnected or. But Zach Fee at the point. Dylan Schreiner alongside him on the outside. Garrett Korn, Cameron Cormier in row number 2. We roll through 3 and 4, going to come to the line. Pace truck in. A big early start there from Zach Fee. Took advantage. As soon as that pace truck pulled in, he was hard on the throttle, and Fee is going to get a big lead going into 1 and 2. Schreiner trying to make up some ground on him, or Garrett Korn down there in 3rd. Lehman down on the bottom in that 20 RT car in 4th. And we're 3 wide for 5th, 6th, and 7th with Grandy, Reeder, and Cormier. Cormier started outs back there in the 6th spot's already falling back a spot. And it's Fee to the lead early. But Garrett Korn doing a good job reeling him in. Takes a dive down to the bottom going into 3. And you can see Grandy now. Grandy started back in 9th, already up to 5th, trying to get around that 92 of Schreiner for the 4th spot. He was a fast car in practice, and he's got some good pace here. He just didn't have a very good pill draw, and it looks like we're going to have our first caution flag. Doesn't look like we want to use that leaderboard. We'll see what this one looks like. This one's kind of a mess too. So our first caution looks like it might have been Cameron Cormier in the 42. Up on the outside of that number 11 car. And a little contact down on the bottom. The 91 of Kyle Reeder kind of gets into the 11 and then collects Cormier. So it looks like a little bit of a mistake there from the 92 or the 91 of Cormier, or excuse me, of Kyle Reeder. Looks like he got in the corner just a little deep. All right, see if we can get back to live time here. All right, so we're on Zach Fee here. It's still showing replay. Guess we're gonna have to quit going to replays if it's gonna do this to me. All right. Just a few more technical difficulties here. We'll get this loaded back up. Zach Fee out in front, as you can see. All right, we got her back. Zach Fee to the point. Colton Lehman's now made his way into 2nd. Garrett Korn there in 3rd, and Grandy back there in the 4th spot. Grandy with a good run to the outside of the 29 of Garrett Korn, coming off the corner, coming across down the front straightaway. Grandy started back in 12th, trying to make his way up onto the podium spot. He is now in 3rd. Grandy showed some good pace in practice. He's showing it here now in this heat race. Now 1 more lap left to go for Zach Fee. Started on the pole this race. He has led just about every lap of it, if not all of them. It's Fee, Lehman, Grandy. Grandy doing everything he can to get around Lehman here for that 2nd spot. He come off of turn number 4. It's going to be Zach Fee coming across the stripe to take the win here in heat race number 1. Colton Lehman going to come home in 2nd. Joseph Grandy 3rd. Nice run after starting back towards the back. So we'll see if we can pull up the results here for heat race number 1. And you can see Zach Fee with the win. Colton Lehman, Joseph Grandy, Dylan Schreiner. Garrett Korn fell back to 5th. Dolan Cole, Cameron Cormier, Joshua Nichols, Chris Moore, Kyle Reeder, and Blake Kiefer going to round out our field of 11 there for heat race number 1. Get heat race number 2 lining up. It is going to be Dylan Van Wyck on the pole in the 117. Matt Fletchall, Falcon Smith, Dylan Wilson. Starting inside of row number 3 is going to be Cody Johnson. Cody looked good in the UMPs earlier, but struggled. Brandon Nance, Corey Roberts, Ethan Johnson, our 2-time winner tonight, looking for win number 3 on the evening, starting back in 8. Scooter Black, and Brandon Jennings going to round out the top 10 starters here in heat race number 2. Thanks for being here with us for the Corns Bar and Grill. Week number 3 of a 12-week season. My name is Chris Murphy here with Digital Racing Sports Network. Thanks for being here. Man, all of my timing boards are a little funky at the moment. So 17 of Van Wyck on the pole. Outside of him, the 26 of Matt Fletchall. Watch for that number 11 starting back there in that 8 spot to see if he can make his way through this field. Dylan Van Wyck bringing him to the line, coming off of turn number 4. Pace strike's pulled in. Here comes Van Wyck. He's on the throttle hard. And he's going to get about 2 car length advantage over Matt Fletchall there in that 2nd spot. Now we are 4 wide. Ethan Johnson already up 2 spots now before we even make it through 1 corner, but it's Dylan Van Wyck out in front now. Fletchall up there on the outside in 2nd at 34. Falcon Smith and Dylan Wilson side by side. Your Dylan Wilson, your point leader here in the super late models. Oh, we got a car upside down in the background there. It looks like it's a number 11 of Cody Johnson. That is going to bring out caution flag number 1. Or is it? Oh, we're going to stay green. We are going to stay green. Heat race number 2. Dylan Van Wyck out in front. Wilson taking a look underneath Fletchall. Can't quite make the pass, and it's Fletchall still in the 2nd. Dylan Wilson 3rd. Falcon Smith in 4th. Corey Roberts 5th. Ethan Johnson back there in the 6th spot. You got to get in the top 4 to not have to run the consi. We take a look at Ethan Johnson here in that number 11 back in the 6th spot. Back up to the front is Dylan Van Wyck and Fletchall. They started 1-2. They're still running 1-2. Dylan Wilson trying to make a run here. Slides up the racetrack coming off of 4. Loses a little bit of momentum there to the leaders, but gets a good run down to 1 and 2. And it's Fletchall taking a look to the inside of Dylan Van Wyck. Off of 2 down the back straightaway. And here a single file up at the front. Van Wyck, Fletchall, Wilson. 2 laps left to go in this race. Take a look back here to the back. It's Ethan Johnson taking a look to the outside of Falcon Smith, trying to get that 4th spot. Doesn't want to have to run that const if he doesn't have to. And he is going to make the pass for 4th, coming down to take the white flag into turn number 1. But up front, it is still Van Wyck, Fletchall, and Wilson, your top 3. And it looks like that's how they're going to finish as they come off the corner. Wilson tries to make a little bit of a run underneath Fletchall, but it's not going to do it. And it's going to be Johnson back there in 4th. As they're going to pile them up here at the start-finish line. Falcon Smith in 5th. Corey Roberts 6th. It looks like it was Scooter Black in 7th. That is going to round out our heat race. We're going to get to the Consi. So top 4 don't have to run the Consi. They're going to line up. They're going to make up the first 4 rows of the feature. From 9th on back will be decided by the Consi. Let's see if we can bring up our results here for heat race number 2. Van Wyck's out there making some more practice laps. So Dylan Van Wyck started on the pole. That heat race is going to come home with a win. Matt Fletchall in 2nd. Dylan Wilson 3rd. Ethan Johnson 4th. Falcon Smith, Corey Roberts, Scooter Black, Brandon Nance, Brandon Jennings, and Cody Johnson back there in 10th. Sorry, and round out our 10-car field there for heat race number 2. Thanks for being here with us. We got Corn's Bar and Grill, Super Late Models, Volusia. Week number 3 here. Let's see if we can get our grid here for the Constellation. It looks like it's going to be, let's see here, back this up a little bit. There we go. Garrett Corn with a lucky draw here. He's going to start on the pole here for the Constellation race. Falcon Smith outside of him. Dolan Cole, Corey Roberts, Cameron Cormier outside, starting in the 6th spot. Outside row number 3 is going to be Scooter Black, and the number 5, Joshua Nichols, Brendan Nance. In 9th, going to be Chris Moore. Starting in 10th, Brandon Jennings, Kyle Reeder, and Cody Johnson. Going to start back in the 12th spot. Go back a little bit further. We got 13 cars. Blake Kiefer going to round out the field. 13-car Constellation race to decide starting positions 9th on back in the feature. Garrett Corn on the pole here. He's looked good in the late models last week. Made it finish 3rd last week. Let's see if he can stay up here towards the front. It's Corn and Smith on the front row. Cole and Roberts right there behind him. Thanks for the tips earlier from a couple of guys. We got the graphics looking a little better on these cars. We got rid of those ugly numbers. See, everybody's nice. Spent a lot of hours working on these paint jobs. Going to show them off, everybody. So 12-lap Constellation race to decide this lineup. And Corn's going to get on the throttle way early. The truck wasn't even off the racetrack. Corn with a big jump. That is going to give him an advantage here right off the start as they are piled up right there behind him. You can see that the 42 of Cormier making a good run down there on the bottom. Started back in 5th, already up to 2nd before we make one lap. You come off of turn number 4, and it's going to be Corn, Cormier, Roberts, your top 3. Cormier there in 2nd. Roberts down here on the bottom trying to make that bottom work. Cormier up on the cushion. Off of turn number 4, complete lap number 2, and it's still Corn. Corn did a good job on that start of the race. Got a big jump, and he is holding on to that lead. Still a battle here for 2nd and 3rd, 4th. Cormier, Roberts, and Cole. Cole in that 07 right there in the 4th spot, trying to find a way around the outside of Roberts. Running through the middle of the racetrack now. You can see multiple grooves. Cormier way up on the cushion. Catches the right rear quarter of the wall coming off a 2. And you can see Cole trying to roll through the middle of the racetrack. So multiple grooves here at Volusia. And there goes Joshua Nichols down to the bottom in the 99. Going to make his way up into 4th. He started back in 7th. He is going to find his way around Roberts. Going to slide up the racetrack coming up off of 4. And that is going to give Nichols the 4th position. We look up here for this battle for 2nd and 3rd. It's Cormier and Roberts. Cormier in 2nd. Roberts 3rd. And it's going to be Roberts taking a look to the inside. Coming off a turn number 4 halfway through this race. 6 laps down, 6 laps to go. And looks like we've got our first caution. I guess I should have put the leaderboard up. That would have been helpful. Trying to keep it off since it's kind of been glitching around. So we'll see if we can figure out who caused this caution or what happened here. It looks like it might have been Scooter Black. We'll take a look. The Scooter in the 5 car just catch it. Looks like he just makes a little bit of contact there with the 88 of Brendan Nance, and that puts Scooter on the outside fence. And you can see the right front tire rolling off the car. That is going to put an end to Scooter Black here in this Constellation race. Back up to the front, Garrett Corn. Cormier and Roberts started to reel him in a little bit before that caution came out. Garrett did a really good job on that first start, taking advantage of the caught everybody kind of sleeping there and got a big jump on the initial start of this race to see if he can do it here on this restart as well. Here we have we're still got 6 laps left to go, so 12-lap consolation race. We're halfway through it, and it's Cormier, Roberts, Nichols, Dolan, Cole running out the top 5. Looks like Patrick's going to pull in one more time. We're going to go around one more time. Look at everybody kind of sorted out. Looks like some cars kind of shuffling around there in the back of the pack. Corn's still with the lead. He's got Cormier. Looks like Corn's going to select the bottom of the racetrack. Let Cormier have the outside. I know I can't pronounce that. Is that PQ Lakes, Minnesota driver? Cameron Cormier? Somebody can correct me on that. I'm sure it's wrong. Garrett Corn originally out of California, now resides out of Iowa. Gonna bring him to the line here one more time. Patrick's gonna pull down in. His Corn's gonna pick up the throttle. Corn with the lead going down into 1. Roberts down there on the bottom looking for way up into 2nd around Cormier. And we are 3 wide for 4th, 5th, and 6th right now. Roberts down on the bottom trying to get it up around 2nd. And here comes Joshua Nichols down there in the 4th, rolling the bottom of the racetrack. Falcon Smith's going to drive by around the outside of him as they come off of turn number 2. Come off of turn number 4 one more time here. 3 laps left to go for Garrett Corn. But he's got Cameron Cormier and Corey Roberts all over the back of him. Falcon Smith doing a good job holding on to that 4th spot. Our big mover in this race right now is Cody Johnson, up 5 spots, up from 12th up to 7th. You can see the battle back here in the back of the pack. 2 laps left to go here for Garrett Corn. Cormier made it close up the gap just a little bit, but I think he's going to run out of time. He's got a good run here on the outside. As I say that, coming off of 4, they're going to head down into turn number 1 and 2 for the last time. And it's going to be Corn out in front, but Cormier and Roberts, let's see if Cormier throws a haymaker going into turn number 3. He's not going to do it, but it's going to be Roberts down there on the bottom. They're going to come off the corner. It's going to be Cormier, Roberts, your top 3. Falcon Smith coming home in 4th. Joshua Nichols 5th. Brandon Jennings is going to be 5th. Excuse me, 6th place. Cody Johnson up into 7th. Blake Kiefer, Brandon Nance, Kyle Reeder, Chris Moore, Dolan Course, and Scooter Black is going to round out our 13-car consolation race. We are going to get ourselves lined up for the feature 40 laps. As they're getting lined up, I'm going to take a quick drink. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. This is gonna be your lineup for the 40-lap feature here at Volusia Super Late Models for Corn's Bar and Grill. On the pole is going to be the 114 of Zach Fee. Outside of him, Dylan Van Wyck. Inside of the 3rd row, Colton Lehman. Inside of the 2nd row is going to be Colton Lehman starting in 3rd. Matt Fletchall in the 26th. In the NLRA Forge and Setup Shop starting at 4th spot. In the 5th spot, Joseph Grandy, the RMDM Sim Sports. Outside him is going to be Dylan Wilson. Dylan Schreiner starting in the 7th spot. Ethan Johnson, the St. Vincent, and I can't see to read the rest of that. In the 8th spot, starting outside row number 4, so watch for Johnson to pick his way through this field. He's won 2 already tonight. Can he win 3? Garrett Corn, winner of that consolation race in 9th. Cameron Cormier going to start in the 10th spot. Back in row number 6, it's going to be Corey Roberts and Falcon Smith. Going to start in the 12th spot, and then we'll see if we can scroll back through here. Be nice if this stuff would work the way I want it to. There we go. 13th, Joshua Nichols, Brandon Jennings, Cody Johnson in 15th. Blake Kiefer going to start in 16th outside of row number 8. In the 9th row, starting in 17th, Brendan Ants, Kyle Reeder. Outside of him in 18th. Back in 19th, going to be Chris Moore and Dolan Cole. And rounding out the field in that number 5, starting 21st on the field, is going to be Scooter Black. Take a look up here at Zach Fee in the 114. He's got the 117 of Dylan Van Wyck on his outside. And we're going to come to the green. That pace truck needs to get the hell out of the way a little sooner, but Zach Fee going to bring us to the stripe. As we head down into 1 and 2, we're 3 wide back here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And it's going to be Van Shrike up on the outside of that number 20 RT of Colton Lehman down on the bottom. And here comes the 80 of Dylan Wilson up underneath Fletcher. Oh, we got a car around that looks like it might have been. I'm not quite sure who it was. It was around right there. But we have our first caution. I thought it might have been Garrett Corner. It looks like it was. We'll take a look here at the replay. And you can see Garrett right there in the middle of the pack. We're about 2 or 3 wide here. He gets down the corner, just gets in the back of the 92, checks up, and that Falcon Smith gets into the back of Garrett Corn. Not really any place he could go. And it looks like Cody Johnson also involved in it. It looks like quite a bit of damage on the 29 of Garrett Corn. I think that is definitely gonna end his night. But Garrett Corn out of this race early, right front, knocked off the car. So just got in the corner there a little bit deep, got into the back of the 92. And unfortunately, that is going to end Garrett Corn's night a little early. Looked really good in that Conti race, led it wire to wire. But it's going to, as a couple of my friends like to say, Garrett Corn's going to win the race to the hot dog stand. So our leader is going to be Zach Fee. First caution flag, 1 lap into this race. We got to I know my tower says 4 laps of 40, but we know that's not right. So Zach Fee, Dylan Van Wyck one more time. Colton Lehman, Matt Fletchall right there behind him. It looks like we're going to go around one more time as they come off of 4. They're going to have to learn to get this pace truck off the racetrack a little faster. Volusia, about everybody's about running over it. So we got 2 laps down, 38 laps left to go of 40. And it's Van Wyck, Fletchall up towards the front. Lehman looking for any big movers right now. Looks like Falcon Smith up 3 spots so far. And we're going to come down the back straightaway here off of turn number 2. Fee and Van Wyck going to bring them to the line. See if we don't run over the pace truck this time. And it's going to be Fee with another good start. He's going to bring Van Wyck right there with him, but Lehman down to the bottom. Lehman with a good jump on Van Wyck, looking to get a run on the bottom of the racetrack, but just too much pace on the outside for Van Wyck, and he's going to hold on to that second spot. Come off of turn number 4 for lap number 3. It's still Fee out in front. Van Wyck, you can see the track starting to dry a little bit, starting to dust up. Drivers out there searching for just the right spot to get a little grip. We see Grandy down here on the bottom of the number 5, rolling that bottom really well. We're 3 wide off the corner here. He's got the 80 car of Dylan Wilson to his outside. And up there in the 20 RT, Colton Lehman. And looks like we got a little debris there on the racetrack. I'm not sure where that came from. But it's Fee, Van Wyck, Fletchall, now your top 3. And it looks like Fletchall's going to find his way around Van Wyck for second. Doing a good job of holding that bottom of the racetrack. Van Wyck way up on the outside. And you can see everybody on the racetrack, just multiple grooves there. Everybody running top, middle, bottom. If you can find, you just got to find somewhere on the racetrack nobody else is running. Fee still out in front. Fletchall now looking to get around Van Wyck for that second spot. It looks like the 80 of Dylan Wilson got a little bit loose there. Lehman got in the back of him just a little bit. As we come off of 4 here. Excuse me, through 1 and 2 one more time. Down the back straightaway. Taking a look here at Colton Lehman down here in that 20 RT up on the outside. He's got Cormier right there in front of him. Zach Fee still back. Okay, Zach Fee still holding the lead. Take a look and see what Ethan Johnson's made his way up. He started back in 8th. He's actually fallen back 4 spots back to 12th. Looks like he might have a little damage on that right front of that car. Not quite making his way through the fields we expected. It looks like that the 20 RT of Lehman was some more trouble. Lehman's now fallen back 9 spots. Back to 12th. He finds his way back here, back in the back of the middle of the pack after starting towards the front, but it's still Zach Fee. Zach's led every lap of this race so far. 29 laps, 11 laps in, 29 laps left to go, and then Zach Fee still out in front. Dylan Van Wyck in 2nd, Fletchall 3rd, Wilson 4th, and Cameron Cormier now find his way up to the 5th spot. We take a look at Ethan Johnson one more time, back there in 10th, trying to make up a little bit of pace, but not quite enough, and it looks like we may have more shuffling around going on here in the field. I'm not sure what happened. Looks like Fletchall. Looks like my scoring is just getting goopy. He only does it on the cautions. All right, so Zach Fee still out at the point. And we are side by side now for 3rd with Fletchall and Wilson. Wilson, your point leader here in the super late models. And look at Corey Roberts up there, trying to find a little more cushion up there when nobody else is going in the number 1. He's up 5 spots. Started back in 11th, now up to 6th. And he has got Joseph Grandy right there behind him. Battle for the lead starting to tighten up there. Fee still in front. Van Wicknell's closed up on his back bumper, and we're 3 wide for 2nd. Van Wyck on the outside, Fletchall and Wilson down on the bottom. Great racing here at Volusia with the Corns Bar and Grill super late models. Wilson and Fletchall still side by side. They've been side by side for about the last 6 or 7 laps, fighting for that 3rd spot. In the meantime, Van Wyck starting to reel in Fee for the lead. He is about, where the heck is he here? About 0.2 of a second behind. I just had to find the right screen to look at. Fee, Van Wyck, and Dylan Wilson and Fletchall still battling for that 3rd spot. We've got Cameron Cormier and Corey Roberts are going at it for that 5th and 6th position. Right there behind him, Joseph Grandy. Grandy takes a big dive up underneath the number 1 of Roberts, but not able to hold it. He's going to have to tuck back in line. Back up here to the front one more time. Looks like we're getting into some lap traffic here. Not sure who that was down on the bottom of the racetrack. The 20 car tries to get down to the inside, but unfortunately it caught Dylan Wilson. Unfortunately, that lap car, I'm not quite sure who that was, but they tried to dive down into the pits. And Wilson, I think it might have been, let's see if we can see what happened there. I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Chris Moore. No, we'll take a look here at Moore in the 11. He's got Corn down on the bottom. Oh, killed contact that out through the 11 of Chris Moore just kind of drifted to the outside. I don't think he saw Kiefer out there. And unfortunately just kind of squeezed Kiefer right into the fence. We'll take a look at that one more time. Take a look from Kiefer's view so you can see Kiefer on the outside. Chris Moore down there on the bottom and just drifted up the racetrack just enough. And that is going to put into both of their nights. All right, Zach Fee still out in front. 18 laps left to go. This 40-lap feature, 12 laps down. Zach Fee, Dylan Van Wyck, Matt Fletchall, Dylan Wilson, Cameron Cormier, your top 5. Looks like we're going to go around one more time. That looks to be working now. B. Van Wyck, Fletchall, your top three. Dylan Wilson, fourth. Cormier, fifth. We are under caution one more time for an incident with Chris Moore and Blake Kiefer. And Garrett Korn also involved in it. It looks like he's going to come back out there making some repairs. So Korn's still back there in this race, back of the field here. Winner of the Consi. One more time, Pacer are going to pull in, but they don't care. They're going to run right over the Pacer. Zach Fee to the lead. Or excuse me, holding on to the lead. Dylan Van Wyck there on the outside. And it's Fee out, and they're side by side. Fee gets a little bit, there's a little bit of momentum off of 2. That's going to let Van Wyck get to the bottom. He's going to slide up coming off of 4. It's going to be Van Wyck to the point. And for the first time here at Volusia, we've got a lead change. They're 3 wide for the lead. Van Wyck and Wilson make a little contact. Wilson to the point. Fee now stuck in the middle of the racetrack. Just can't get out of the way. He is going to fall all the way back to 5th. And look who's down on the bottom of the racetrack, back in about 6 is Ethan Johnson. We're going to the point here. Dylan Wilson. We are 3 wide for second spot. It's Van Wyck, Fletchall, Roberts, Grandy, all in this battle. Ethan Johnson down there in the 6th spot. In the meantime, our early leader, Zach Fee's now fallen all the way back to 7th. Come off of turn number 4 one more time. Take a look at Ethan Johnson. Now made his way up to 5th, kind of hung out back about 10th or 12th for most of this race. But our leader, our point leader here, oh, Roberts into the wall hard. And we're going to have another caution flag. 14 laps left to go. So our early leader of this race, Zach Fee's led most laps in this race. Unfortunately, a little struggle on that restart. I don't know what that caution was for. I'm not seeing any events on my... Might have been Joseph Grandy. We'll see if we can take a look, see what happened to Joseph. Looks like Joseph may be out of this race. See him up here on the outside of Cormier. They make a little contact coming off of 2. Oh, that's going to pile it up right there. Yeah, unfortunately, Cormier and Grandy look to both be out of this. Look at a lot of right front damage on the right, on Joseph Grandy, number 5, or the 518, as it's listed on my scoreboard. But in the meantime, Dylan Van Wyck has found his way to the point with Dylan Wilson right there with him. Corey Roberts, Matt Fletchall, Ethan Johnson has now made his way up to 5th. Zach Fee, our early race leader, finds himself in the 6th spot, down 5 spots after starting on the pole this. Thanks for being here with us. I'm Chris Murphy with Digital Racing Sports Network, bringing you the Corns Bar and Grill Super Late Model. Week number 3 of 12. Next week, we're going to find ourselves at I-55. It's kind of a little bit of a similar track to Volusia and feeling. A little more bank to it. Doesn't quite have that little triable section down the back straightaway like Volusia does, but it feels very similar racy-wise. Looking forward to that I-55 Speedway next weekend. So Dylan Wilson here, still out in front. In the number 80, your points leader. I say that, I better look. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right, we're going to come to the stripe one more time here. Pace truck is pulling in. A little bit of a delayed start this time for Wilson. Wilson's going to bring him to the line. They're side by side now, heading on turn number 1 and 2. Wilson with a good slide up, but Corey Roberts looks to get underneath of Van Wyck for that 2nd spot. And my leaderboard is all whacked out. We'll see if we can get her to the front. There we go. Wilson, Van Wyck, and now look who's found his way into the 3rd spot. It's Ethan Johnson, starting back in 8th, fell back to about 11th or 12th at one point. Has now found his way back up into the podium spots. He's got Corey Robert and Matt Fletchall right there behind him. Fletchall on the 26 takes a look to the inside, not able to make a pass. We have 11 laps left to go in this race. Out in front, it's Wilson, Van Wyck, and Johnson, your top 3. Take a look through here in the middle of the field, but it looks like everybody kind of getting a little sorted out this time. Not as much fighting going back and forth as there was. But we do have a race here for third and fourth. As Roberts now trying to make his way back up to the back bumper, that number 11 of Ethan Johnson. And you can see how the groove has moved up the racetrack here as we've gone along. At least through 1 and 2. Roberts into the wall. Coming off of 4. Didn't really hurt him too much. Is now see Johnson running the middle of the racetrack. Van Wyck way up on the cushion. Take a look at our leader at number 80, Dylan Wilson, out in front. Come off of turn number 4. 8 laps left to go. Out of the 40, 32 laps down. Van Wyck in second. Ethan Johnson lurking right there in that third position. Corey Roberts, Matt Fletchall, 4th and 5th right now. And it looks like Cody Johnson into the wall hard. And that is going to bring out another caution with 7 laps left to go. Like a mistake there from Cody Johnson. He got into the fence. And it looks like, looking at our scoreboard, it looks like Zach Fee's out of this race. I did not see him come in, but Zach out of this race as well after leading much about the first half of it. Let's see if we can see what happened to Cody Johnson here. Comes off at turn 2 here down the back straightaway. A little bit of contact there. Not sure who that other number 11 was down there on the bottom. Like they were both kind of fighting over the same piece of real estate. Unfortunately, Cody got the worst of it. All right, we've got 7 laps left to go. That's what my scoreboard says. Hopefully that's accurate. Appreciate you being here with us tonight. Dylan Wilson out in front. Dylan Van Wyck second. Ethan Johnson's now found his way to third. Corey Roberts, Matt Fletchall. We're going to go around one more time. Lights still on the pace truck. What are we down to? Are we down to 11 cars? We started with 21. 10 cars out of this race. Garrett Korn, the last car on the racetrack back there in 11th. I thought he might have been out of this earlier, but you can see, looks like the number 11 down there, Cody Johnson, getting ready to come back out onto the racetrack, as long also with, looks like that might be Dolan Cole. Oh, it was actually Cormier. So we've got 13 cars still on the racetrack. So Cody Johnson there with some, or excuse me, Chris Moore there with some heavy damage on the front of that number 11. It was actually Chris Moore that crashed earlier, not Johnson. So Dylan Wilson going to bring him to the line one more time. 6 laps left to go, and the number 80 is Wilson out in front. Van Wyck right there behind him, and he's got his handful with Ethan Johnson looking to the outside. Van Wyck slides up off of 4. That's going to give Johnson a good run off the corner. Johnson going to take that second spot away as they head down into 1 and 2. That's Corey Roberts now side by side with Van Wyck for that third spot, but he's going to fall back into the clutches of Mac Fletchall. Fletchall now, Roberts into the fence one more time. We've seen him make that mistake quite a few times here in 3 and 4. Roberts now going to lose one more spot. Oh, it's going to slide up, and Fletchall going to slide up in front and take the nose off of Roberts right there for 4th. When we look back here to this battle for 5th and 6th with, 6th and 7th with Schreiner and Scooter Black now. Scooter with a good run up 14 spots, started back in 21st, now up to 7th. But here we are at the lead. We have 3 laps left to go. It's Dylan Wilson at front. Ethan Johnson needs one more spot to win all 3 races tonight. He won the Street Stocks and the UMPs. He is now up to 2nd. He's got the number 80 Dylan Wilson out in front as they're going to come off it down the back straightaway here into 3 and 4 to come around with the white flag for one more lap left to go. It is Dylan Wilson out in front. There's the eyeball test for you. Ethan Johnson about 8 or 9 car lengths back. He is going to have a heck of a run here through 1 and 2 if he's going to have any chance of catching Dylan Wilson. Dylan Wilson with 1 win on the season. Ethan Johnson with the other. Race number 3, it's going to be Dylan Wilson. Coming off of turn number 4, bringing us to the line. And it's going to be Dylan Wilson taking the win here at Volusia. Ethan Johnson in second. Dylan Van Wyck third. Matt Fletchall fourth. Dylan Schreiner with a good run to second. Scooter Black started back in 21st, up 15 spots up to the 6th position. And it's going to be Joshua Nichols, Falcon Smith, and we'll see if we can just get the results up here for you after we finish crosses the line. And that's going to be our results for you, Radjet. Dylan Wilson with the win. Win number 2 on the season. Your point leader is going to hold on to the points lead as they head out of Volusia for I-55 next week. Ethan Johnson, Dylan Van Wyck, Matt Fletchall, Dylan Schreiner, Scooter Black, Joshua Nichols, Falcon Smith, Brendan Nance. Garrett Korn's going to come home in 10th after some struggles in this one. Chris Moore 11th, Corey Roberts 12th, Cameron Cormier in 13th, Dolan Cole, Zach Fee, our early race leader, back there in the 15th spot. Kyle Reeder 16th, Joseph Grandy, Brandon Jennings, and it's going to be, see if we can get to the next page here. Colton Lemon, Blake Kiefer, and Cody Johnson is going to round out the 21 car field. Let's see if we can get somebody in here to talk to if they want to talk with us. Let's see here. All right. Hey, Dylan, you there with us, buddy? All
Are you
right.
talking to me?
Yeah, hey, buddy. It's Chris Murphy here in the booth. We got you in the booth there. Nice win there at Volusia. What, give us a little insight what you saw out there tonight.
Sorry, dude. I didn't even know anybody was broadcasting that. Fun race. Just kind of riding around there, and then Van White kind of threw a slider there for the lead, and kind of slid with them. And then I don't know what happened. I think somebody tried to put it in the middle of us and kind of created contact, which ended up benefiting me more than anything. Usually any kind of contact ends in a bad day in iRacing, but it didn't hurt us too bad. And once I got to the lead, I was able to run the line I needed to, and found that slider line. And once you can run that pretty consistently, it's really hard to pass. So really the only option to pass would have been on a restarts or for me to make a big mistake, which I didn't do.
Yeah, it looks like you guys were really timing those restarts. Actually, you were about the only one that didn't run over the pace truck on the restart, but you looked really strong once you got to the point. You're leading the points right now. What, you had to look up at that last restart. You saw the 11 of Ethan right there behind you. He started kind of back in this field. Did you think you had a chance to keep him behind you? Did you feel pretty good? I mean, you looked like you had the car set up pretty well to run just about anywhere you wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, when Ethan's there, it's always going to be a tough time. So, but yeah, I knew he had to come from the back, and he was already saying he used his stuff up pretty good. So, trying to get through some of the traffic. So, I just knew I just had to hit my marks and just cruise on there. The laps kind of wound down pretty quickly there, and 5, 6, 7 lap stints help too. So keeps the lap traffic out of the equation and all that good stuff.
Well, we got next week, or it's just week number 3. You're leading the points. Next week we go to I-55. How do you feel about your chances next week?
It's honestly, for a track like I-55, it just depends on where you draw in the heat race. It's not the easiest track to try to come from the back in. If you do have to start in the back, you better hope for a lot of chaos and to not be involved in it as you work your way forward. But we'll see where we draw. Hopefully the front, because that's one of those tracks where you really want to start up front at. But if not, then we'll just try to run where they're not and see what happens.
Well, good run tonight. Before we let you go, you got anybody you want to give any thanks to?
Yeah, I just thanks to Garrett Korn for putting this league on somewhere for us to race on Sunday nights, and anybody else that helps him, and that's pretty much it.
All right, man. We'll appreciate you being here with us. Hopefully, we'll see you in Victory Lane again next week at I-55.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, let's see if we can get our second place runner in here, Ethan. Let's see here. Let's gotta move myself out of the way. There we go. All right, we're learning this stuff. All right, here we go. Ethan, you here in the booth? We got Chris Murphy here in the booth. You with me there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Good run there tonight. You took home the win in the street stocks early in the night, and then you took home the win in the UMPs. Your charge, you kind of started towards the middle of the pack. Your pill draw didn't look to be your friend tonight in the heat races, though, at all.
No, we had problems before the main even started. We actually missed grid, and luckily there's a yellow on the first lap. We came from dead last to finish second. To lose to Dylan, he's one of the best to ever do it on this game. So we'll take it.
Yeah, about the middle of the race, you were running about 10th or 12th. Did you think you were going to get yourself to the point? I mean, a couple cautions have really helped you out, but you looked to have that car set up well. You could run just about anywhere you wanted with it. But maybe did you just run out of your stuff right there towards the end?
He was just better than me today, and I think I did use my stuff up a little bit, but other than that, could just run a more consistent line, and he was out front most of the race, and could make clean laps and in clean air, and not having to worry about anybody else making mistakes or checking up or anything. So he got that line dialed in and was rolling.
Does the clean air make that big a difference in these super late models here on iRacing?
I mean, there's no clean or dirty air, but it definitely helps when you don't have people in front of you checking up, or you don't have to check up for them, and you can just make smooth, consistent laps and not make any mistakes. That definitely helps a lot.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join us here in the booth. A really great run tonight, all the way back up to second after 2 wins. We thought you were going to go for 3, but hey, before we get you out of here tonight, you got anybody you want to give a thanks to?
You got to thank Garrett Korn for putting this on, and you for broadcasting, and everybody who helps out with this deal.
All right, really appreciate it. Good luck to you. Good luck to you next week at I-55.
Thank you.
All right, that is going to bring us to a close here tonight. We'll see if we can bring up our podium finishers. That's going to work. It's got the wrong graphic behind it, but that works for you. Your winner, Dylan Wilson, coming home. Your point leader going to leave here with the points lead still. Ethan Johnson there in second. Dylan Van Wyck in third. I didn't see Dylan in the lobby to talk to, so we're just going to go ahead and end our interviews there with the top 2. But I appreciate you being here with us tonight. My name is Chris Murphy, Digital Racing Sports Network. If you're looking to get some race coverage done, if you haven't been here before, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. But if you're looking to get some coverage, reach out. We've got some room. We're looking for some races for off the winter. We talked earlier. We do some work with some other groups. Hey, thank you, Mr. Duck, Tape Racing. Appreciate it, buddy. And we do some work with some other groups. We'll be doing some coverage the rest of this week with JP Broadcasting and Sim Racing Media Tuesday night with the trucks of Western States Racing League, and then Friday night we have the Great Lakes Sim Halloween special. So be there for us. So check us out at Sim Racing Media, but also check us out here all the time here at Digital Racing Sports Network. We're going to try to be back here as often as we can for these Sunday shows. Garrett Korn's done a good job reaching out to us, and we have a lot of fun here with the Korn's Bar and Grill. They put on a great show here. But we're going to go ahead and check out of here for the night one more time. It is going to be Dylan Wilson coming home with the win. Ethan Johnson there in second. In the super late models, Dylan Van Wyck third, Matt Fletchall and Dylan Schreiner rounding out the top 5 in the super late models. And early in the night, it was Ethan Johnson winning the street stocks and the UMPs. So we'll be back one more time next week. Next week is going to be street stocks at USA, UMP modifieds at Kokomo, and super late models at I-55. So we're going to go ahead and check on out of here. You have yourself a good rest of the week, and we will see you again next time.